Party switching Sheriff Todd Baxter. Party switching District Attorney Sandra Doorley. Bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler who doesn't know which century she lives in. My name is Christopher Chichester. I've never committed a crime. This shirt here, Sheriff Baxter, says, "You are medicine." I was delivered to You Are Medicine by one of your criminal employees, Todd Baxter. What's his name? Can you figure out why I demand to know the name of your criminal employee, Todd Baxter? And I've said this repeatedly. I leave the residence at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield. I'll walk down Penfield Road to Canandaigua National Bank. I see your vehicles passing me and I dismiss it. Because I always see your vehicles on Penfield Road, especially when they're at Wegmans alongside the building doing nothing. I go to the bank and I had $21.39 in my pocket. I withdrew $40. So I have $61.39 in my pocket when I walk back down the sidewalk on Penfield Road. I make a right on Sanders Farm Drive. I make a left on Willapon Way. I go past Crown Oak Estates. And when I'm at Crown Oak Estates, a low-income housing area, before I get to Wegmans, I can see your vehicles on Penfield Road, approximately 200 yards away, passing me still. I walk in front of Wegmans. I get to the pharmacy entrance. 5 of your vehicles and 11 of your employees, 11 that I counted, and then there were more, stop their vehicles at the pharmacy entrance. One of your criminal employees, party-switching, bald-headed Todd Baxter, exits his vehicle, runs at me, lowers his shoulder, jams his shoulder into the small of my back, knocks me down, and my head slammed against the concrete pavement. There I am laying on the concrete pavement, motionless, after this violent attack by your employee, Todd Baxter. My head is on the concrete to the left, and that's when I counted 11 of your employees, and I believe that there were more. There had to be more. I've been calling you and ridiculing you as a fanatic, degenerate, and sociopath for 18 months. And your fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths arrived. You summoned your fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths. What do you think about what your employee did to me, Sheriff Baxter? How do you respond? What's his name? The witnesses are your 11 employees. And the blue wall of Todd Baxter will refuse to provide me his name. This is a violent attack, a violent assault, a violent crime upon me by your employee, Sheriff Todd Baxter. What's his name? So I had to go and get an MRI. And the MRI was normal. It says imaging is normal. Right there. Your imaging is normal. You may use 100 mg alternating with Motrin, 600 mg, so that one medication taken every 3 hours is needed for pain. As needed for pain. I fought off that pain because I like to think I have a high tolerance for pain. But I was in pain at one point. Because when your head slams against concrete pavement for anyone, you're going to be in pain. And when I'm sitting in the back seat of your vehicle and I'm looking at more of your employees, I had an absolute and total disgust at your repulsive existence in Monroe County. You are a criminal, Todd Baxter, and you employ criminals. You're a criminal, Sandra Doorley, and you employ criminals. As I'm going to demonstrate for however long this YouTube lasts. What's his name, Todd Baxter? You are. See that right there? That says You Are Medicine. I got this when I ran a 5K at You Are. I put the shirt on. I'm so happy to get it at the award ceremony. Everybody else that got a shirt, everybody around the race, 500 people, however many it was, got this shirt. I put it on. So I'm wearing a You Are Medicine shirt after this race, and I was delivered to You Are Medicine by one of your violent criminal employees, party switching Sheriff Todd Baxter. What's his name? You refuse to tell me his name. I will never cash this check for $61.39. It says right there, County of Monroe, Office of the Sheriff. Criminal contempt, when I'm not committing a crime. Harassment second, when I'm not harassing anyone. I explain this repeatedly. I leave my residence one day to walk outside, go to Sanders Farm Drive, to tell a guy in his tractor that nobody owns the land next to my residence. I just walked outside, stood on Sanders Farm Drive, I told the guy nobody owns the land next to my residence. I came back in my house. How's that a crime? I've asked you this over and over, Todd Baxter. How it's a crime? How is it a crime, Todd Baxter, to walk outside, stand here, tell a guy in his tractor from Broccoli Tree and Lawn Care that nobody owns that land and walk back in my residence? How's that a crime? When you tell me how that's a crime, I'll go into Penfield Town Court to be declared guilty by bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. How's that possibly a crime? You can't answer that. You will have to answer. You will have to describe how it's a crime for me to walk outside, stand here, say no one owns this land, and walk back in my house when I contact the United States Department of Justice. How is that a crime? How is that criminal contempt? Second, to leave my residence, stand here, tell a guy in his tractor from Broccoli Tree and Lawn Care, nobody owns that land, and walk back in my house. How's that a crime? You're a fanatical, degenerate Kool-Aid drinker. And that's not a crime. Criminal contempt second. Fine Shannon Meyer. You pay her $67,000. I'm talking to her on the phone for an hour. And answered every question. I'm cooperating. I have no idea she set me up that day using a civilian named Steve Desmond to get to my residence. How often did you use a civilian to come to the residence of an innocent American? Why is Shannon Myers still employed at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office for $67,000 when she's concocting crimes for innocent Americans? Why is Andrew Reale still employed at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office when he's concocting crimes for innocent Americans? For $79,000. $67,000 Shannon Meyer, fire her. $79,000 Andrew Reale, fire her. And you won't because you're the blue wall of Todd Baxter. I go to the now defunct PW Fitness. When I use my key card, I walk in. I'm thinking, where's Jermaine Benman? I'm on the bench press one day. Benman comes up to me, goes like that. I don't acknowledge him. I say, I'll be 30 seconds. Benman stands over me, punches down. My head snaps back violently. He walks away. I had to make a decision right away not to bring him to the ground, which I should have. A witness calls the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. $79,000 Andrew Reale arrives. He bizarrely tells me to wait in the backseat of the vehicle because he knows what he wants to do to me because he's been to my residence, this parking lot. I'm sitting in the backseat of the vehicle, Todd Baxter. What crime did I commit so far? Tell me the crime I've committed and who am I harassing? When you can identify the human being I'm harassing, I may consider going into Penfield Town Court. Who did I harass based on what I told you? From the time I was on the bench press to being in the backseat of Andrew Reale's Monroe County Sheriff's Office, who am I harassing? Tell me the name. Andrew Reale tells Jermaine Benman exactly what to say. He walks Jermaine Benman over to the side of the vehicle, and Jermaine Benman says to me, I want to press charges against you. And with those 7 words, party switching, bald-headed criminal Todd Baxter, I'm charged with harassment second. I was in jail for this. This is why I'll never go into Penfield Town Court. Fuck you, Paula Metzler. That is a star chamber in there, an assembly line of guilt, because that's the way you want it, the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office. I'll be absolutely clear, Paula Metzler, but I repeat myself to you criminals, Sandra, Doorley, Todd, Baxter, Paula Metzler, is because it has to be hammered into the brains of corruption. That's why I will repeat myself. Who am I harassing? When you tell me the name of the human being I'm harassing, I'll go into Penfield Town Court. I'll consider it. Bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. You did $28,000 hack and a $34,000 hack. I got a $28,000 hack or a $34,000 civil servant trying to send me to jail. Paula, you're not going to be on a Court of Appeals in Albany in the United States Supreme Court anytime soon. Have you figured that out? Attempted assault, petty larceny, trespassing. Lie. What's the names? It's where I live. Your employees on August 30th walked onto the private property of my neighbor. I'm waiting for them to start screaming my name and banging on the side of the residence, this side, the front side, the door. I'm waiting for them to arrive, which you can see in YouTube I've called hatred. It's astonishing that here I am on YouTube doing what I've been doing for 18 months, and they arrived when I was on YouTube. That really is astonishing to me, at least. You could hear it. Did you watch that called hatred? They are screaming my name in fanaticism. Should never happen in the United States of America to an innocent man. Perry Duckles at the district attorney's office. I hope what has happened to me never happens to anybody in your life that you like or you love or you respect. Does a prosecutor talk in court, Perry? How am I delivered to Monroe County Jail first and Livingston County Jail second? The prosecutor doesn't talk. So, on August 30th, I leave my residence past midnight. Your employees, Todd Baxter, walked onto the private property of my 72-year-old neighbor, one of the nicest people anybody could meet. Waiting for me to come outside. They're waiting for me to come outside. The body cam footage that I was showed by my public defender shows it. I walk alongside of my residence. They come running at me. I don't know what this is. When the body cam footage goes on, that's not a crime. I run alongside my residence. I'm on the back porch. As I'm about to run back into my residence, I'm wearing camouflage pants, and that can be seen. Your employee, Todd Baxter, grabbed my arm. The hammer I just grabbed goes up. The reason why the hammer goes up is your employee grabbed my arm. If he doesn't grab my arm, I run back into the residence. I want to say that again. I'm running back up my back porch. Your employee grabbed my left arm. The hammer I just grabbed goes up. I run back in my residence. How's that a crime? Your employee said I swung a hammer at him. Pay attention, you bald-headed criminal, Todd Baxter. If I wanted to swing a hammer at your employee, I would have swung a hammer at your employee. I would have brought the hammer down on the head of your employee and it would have ended his career. I have never swung a hammer at anyone. I've never engaged in violence. I've never committed a violent act. And on August 30th, your fanatics, degenerate sociopaths appeared at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield and validated why I've been calling them fanatics, degenerates, sociopaths. What are their names? When you tell me their names, the names of your two employees that walked onto the private property of my neighbor, I may consider going into Penfield Town Court. Until that time, fuck you, you bald-headed criminal. Attempted assault. Attempted. I'm not attempting anything. If I wanted to assault your employee, I would have. Petty larceny, someone you think is me is taking a sign next to these trees. That's petty larceny. I'm supposed to be in jail for somebody you think is me is taking the time. The reason why you think is me is because that camera. You bought a camera that I was describing as a surveillance device, 2025 Penfield Road, and you lied about it repeatedly. How does anybody own that land? Call these parasites in A-Raj and Layla Kumar shop. What would you think, Todd, if you're sleeping with Mrs. Fascist Stooge at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. during the summertime, and here they come? If they haven't been here for 7 years and suddenly here, you know what I'm going to conclude? What anybody would conclude. Nobody owns that land, and nobody owns that land. You're concocting a crime for me. You've been concocting crimes for me for 18 months, and it's nauseating, it's sickening, a vile descent of my life, character, integrity by you. Nobody owns that land. They come here whenever they want. Have you seen the new way to cut grass? They're up on their tractors from Broccolo Tree and Lawn Care. I'd like to ask this guy on his tractor, what do you think he's wearing? What do you think he's wearing on his head when he's here at 7 o'clock in the morning? I'd like to ask this guy, who's a ZZ Top freak show with a beard down to here, if he would like someone to come to his residence at 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning with that tractor and wake him up. What would you think, Todd Baxter, if you're sleeping with Mrs. Fascist Dudes? And here he is. And what do you think he's wearing on his head? He's wearing these earmuffs because the tractor is so loud. So tell me how that's a crime to walk outside, stand on Sanders Farm Drive, say nobody owns that, and then walk back in my house. How is that possibly a crime? The answer is that that's not a crime. And I was in jail for it. I was in jail for harassment second. And now you got attempted assault, petty larceny, and trespassing. You are such a joke as the sheriff of Monroe County that you don't know what a crime is. You don't know the behavior that constitutes a criminal act. You've been a pathetic cop your whole life. Before you went to sheriff's office, you were there in Greece. You're putting the screws to innocent people in Greece. I'd like to know what they think about you in Greece. And you're an accident of history. You're lucky that your predecessor was this 16-year fossil. And you switch parties to run, right? Party switching fraud. This delivers me to jail. Shannon Meyer. That the defendant. How am I defendant on a piece of paper? On the above date and location, approximately 1440 hours to knowingly enter, remain unlawfully upon the premises 2041 Penfield Road, New York, by walking through the parkland after being told by certified mail by police that is not allowed on the property. I didn't get anything by certified mail. There's nothing with my signature from these parasites or you. By police. What's the name? Police. By police. Your incoherence. That he's not allowed on the property. The property, really. This is the property. This is the property right here. Let me tell you about your fanaticism, Todd. You own a dog. Sheriff Baxter, you own a dog. District Attorney Sandra Doorley first. Walk through the park. I have two of my neighbors. You want their address? Layla Kumar and A-Raj Shah. Going to you about my neighbors. Where's my 14th Amendment right if I'm the only American to be arrested for walking through that parking lot? District Attorney Sandra, I'm riding my bike down Penfield Road when you up for re-election. I took my camera out of my backpack. I took this re-elect Sandra Doorley. I was nauseous to my stomach when I took that picture of re-elect Sandra Doorley. And when I ran a 5K, you are. There's your employees at this gym after a 5K. This is at MCC, pardon me. This was at MCC. There's your employees. Why are your employees at MCC after a 5K? They're sitting around here, talking to each other, doing nothing, It's yet confirmation of your total incompetence in Monroe County. Sitting there, they should be out doing their jobs. Attempted assault? I didn't assault anybody. You understand me? If I wanted to assault him, I could have assaulted him. He grabbed my arm. That's why the hammer went up. Petty larceny? I have no idea what you mean by that. Somebody think it's me is taking a sign. Trespassing? My trespassing in a parking lot I've walked through 4,000 times. You arrested my neighbors that I just showed you for trespassing? Lie, 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 lie from a liar sheriff. And Todd, I mean, really, get your head stuck in a door like this. Does that hurt your head when you get it stuck in a door at a 130 South Plymouth Avenue? Because I really don't understand how you could get your head stuck in a door like that over and over. Stop doing that to yourself, Todd the fascist stooge. So you and Jonestown Kool-Aid drinkers do not know what constitutes a crime. Paula Metzler, bald-headed, wig-wearing fascist stooge. I will never appear in Penfield Town Court. I don't care about additional charges because you're just there to declare me guilty, right? Where's the jury? Madam District Attorney, party switching Sandra Doorley. When you have a jury for me to face, then I'll go into Penfield Town Court. I'm waiting for them to start banging on the door, screaming my name, losing their minds. Why have I never heard Miranda versus Arizona? In Miranda versus Arizona, Supreme Court ruled that detained criminal suspects prior to police questioning informed of the constitutional right to attorney against self-crimination. I know about this right, but you're supposed to inform me of it. I've never heard Miranda. How do you explain that to the United States Department of Justice? You just came here, and I came outside here for 30 seconds, put the handcuffs on me. You took me to your jail. I was handcuffed inside your jail. Couldn't reach the urinal. I urinated on myself. And I've never heard Miranda. And everything you're doing to me, I've never heard of Miranda. Paula Metzler, how do you explain a search warrant that you wrote in Penfield Town Court? I'm going to tell the United States Department of Justice, you bald-head, wig-wearing criminal Paula Metzler, that you typed this document that says search warrant on it. That's not a search warrant. With Lee LaRoque, Todd Baxter's $91,000 criminal in Penfield Town Court. This is what I'm going to tell the United States Department of Justice. And Lee LaRoque, you $91,000 criminal, mail my Chromebook back to 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield. And what you did, Lee LaRoque, is you went to my emails, my Gmail, and you're reading my Gmail. You went to the search history on the Chromebook because you're trying to concoct a crime for me by reading my Gmail and looking at the search history on the Chromebook. And this is also what I'm going to tell the United States Department of Justice. Mail that Chromebook back to 26 Sanders Farm Drive. Why did you take my Chromebook? And the reason why you took the Chromebook is because of this search warrant that is an unconstitutional document because it's not a search warrant. Any laptops, computers, tablets, or any computing devices to be thoroughly searched off-site. To be thoroughly searched off-site, what did you find? You're thoroughly searching my Chromebook, is that right? What'd you find? I bet you when you thoroughly searched it by reading my emails and looking at search history, you were enraged that you couldn't concoct a crime for me. Why do you need to thoroughly search my Chromebook? You do whatever the fuck you want there at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, bald-headed criminal Todd Baxter at $91,000 a year criminal Lee LaRoque. You do whatever you want. The law's a joke to you. It's not a search warrant. You will have to explain this bald-headed wig-wearing Paula Metzler. I will never come to Penfield Town Court because it is. I'll never come in there to be declared guilty by you. This is not a search warrant, Paula Metzler. This is not a search warrant, Lee LaRoque. This is an illegal document that you, Paula Metzler, typed in your library courtroom to get this fanatic Lee LaRoque in here, where she's reading my emails and going to the search history on the Chromebook. You, Lee LaRoque, took the papers I have in folders downstairs. You threw them all over the floor. I have photographs of that. My neighbor saw it too, because when I finally got home at 3 o'clock in the morning, before I came in here, I knocked on my neighbor's door and we both came in here. That's when I took that photograph of the papers. My military uniform from the 101st was on the floor, and my running shoes were in your hand. You, Lee LaRoque, had these running shoes in your hand. These are racing shoes. I only use these for races, and they're over there because I look at them. I think I can hardly wait to get into the race. You picked these up and threw them about 10 feet from where they were placed. Why do you have my racing shoes in your hand, Lee LaRoque? You looked inside my racing shoes. This is the perversion of Sheriff Todd Baxter and the perversion of you, $91,000 Lee LaRoque, picking up my racing shoes and looking in them. Todd, it's one of your employees driving by Wegmans here. It's your headquarters. Why are they always over there? I'm walking over there one day. to go to Gold's Gym in Fairport? Here she comes driving right at me. Click. Why did you take this picture of your employees underwater in a pool? You're refusing to answer this. I'm going to tell this is why, one of the reasons, one of 500 plus reasons, I'm going to contact the New York State Controller and demand that you be audited. These are your employees underwater in a pool. When I swim in the pool at the YMCA, and that's a big pool, and if your Monroe County Sheriff Office employees are there when I arrive, I'm going to remember that. Where was this taken? This is not some little pool, some backyard pool somewhere. They had to get ready for this. Did you take this photograph on taxpayer time? What's the answer to that question? The answer is yes, because your employee told me that this is a training exercise. Todd, are you down here? Did you organize this? Are you the one, party-switching, bald-headed Todd Baxter, responsible for this? Is this you right here, Todd? Are you here in the middle? Huh? Are you the captain of the underwater Monroe County Sheriff Office employees? Are you down here, Todd? Is this you right here, Todd, baby? This is such a joke, a disgrace. Let me check one of these. What do you think about what I've been saying here? This YouTube's at 21 minutes. Let me ask one of Sandra Doorley's six-figure employees. $113,465 Robin Catalano. What do you think, Robin, about what I've just said here? How you spending, Robin, at the $113,465 a paycheck? Then let me ask one of Todd Baxter's six-figure employees about what I've been saying here. I'm going to start banging on the door. Let me see one of his six-figure employees, Kevin C. Kaiser, $110,000, $868. Kevin, what do you think I'm saying here as one of Todd Baxter's six-figure employees? On his page, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 employees at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office making $100,000. How do you explain that to people in Monroe County? This abomination of you six-figure cops. How is that explained, Todd Baxter? How is that possibly explained to people of Monroe County? On July 6, 2019, I sent this to you. The cost of a surveillance device purchased with taxpayer dollars by Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter and fixed to a building at 2025 Penfield Road to monitor Christopher Child Chef's 26 Sanders Farm Drive, walk through the park on the next building. This is your total contempt for the law. You bought that camera. The first image for me that I'm demanding, the first image I saw when I came outside to stand on 26 Sanders Farm Drive, as I just showed, I have not seen that. And it has an assigned number. I want to see that because I'm not committing a crime. Did you destroy that image? Do you know that destruction of evidence is a crime? I've been demanding it over and over. You go to the email. I use my mail.com account. I use multiple email addresses. Over and over and over. Send me that because that's not a crime to walk outside, stand on Sanders Farm Drive. It was on the phone of your employees. It has an assigned number. When I came to your office, your employee knew exactly what I'm talking about. Because it's not every day you're buying a camera. Put on a building. Concoct a crime for an innocent citizen. This is what happened. Harris Whalen Park, and I emailed you about this. The procession tonight in the Holy Roman Todd K. Baxter parking lot in Penfield to New York. Beginning at 6 p.m. at Harris Whalen Park, the 2019 Independence Day celebration begins for the town of Penfield. This event certifies that individuals will be walking on divine concrete that you and your fellow whack jobs supervise in Penfield. Did Layla Kumar and Aaron Shah go to your office about any of these people walk through the parking lot? If it's a crime to walk through that parking lot, the 200 people I personally witnessed should have been arrested. Penfield High School band students should have been arrested. What would you think if a Penfield High School band student was arrested for walking through that parking lot? Because I'll be arrested. What would the mothers and fathers think if a Penfield High School band student was arrested? There's a 15, 16-year-old minor in handcuffs with an instrument in hand if you did that. Do you think that you could survive re-election if you did that to a Penfield High School band student? What's the difference between me walking through that parking lot and a Penfield High School band student carrying an instrument? The answer is that there is no difference. Because I have the same 14th Amendment right as a Penfield High School band student. But I would be arrested, and the Penfield High School band student wouldn't. How do you explain that to the United States Department of Justice, Todd Baxter? How do you explain that to the Office of Governor Andrew Cuomo? How do you explain that to the Monroe County Legislature? How do you explain that to the editors and reporters of the Democrat and Chronicle? The answer to each one of those questions, they can't be explained because fanaticism and hatred and corruption can't be explained. And you don't even know in your delusional 1984 that you're a fanatic and you're corrupt, and you're consumed by hatred. You do not know this. You do not know this either, Sandra Doorley. The reason why your prosecutor didn't talk is I didn't commit a crime. But speaking of a crime, what's the name of your employee that delivered me to UR Medicine? Your employee physically attacked me. This is a violent assault. What's his name? And the witnesses are your own employees. When you tell me his name, I may consider going into Penfield Town Court to be declared guilty by bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. UR Medicine, I'm in there in the MRI, looking up at it in that tube, and I can still feel the back of my head from my head slammed against the concrete pavement. I'm in an MRI tube because you're an employee. I'm at UR Medicine because you're an employee, Todd Baxter. What's his name? Send me the proof by affidavit, bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. It says right here, to any deputy sheriff, the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office, and any other police officer in the state of New York. Any other police officer in the state of New York. Have you, Paula Metzler, ever read The Elements of Style by E.B. White and William Strunk Jr.? Ever read that book on usage? It's a famous book. You should, because you don't understand the English language. To any other police officer in the state of New York. Can any police officer in the state of New York from Montauk Point to Buffalo come on my residence? The answer is yes. Because of you, Paula Metzler. To any deputy sheriff of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. To any deputy sheriff of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Does that mean you, Don Benedetto, at your $85,000? Don, you were here that night where your employee grabbed my arm. You organized it, right, Don? You, Don Benedetto, at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office were pounding on my door because you said your name. You're planning to do this to me. Don, what's the name of your two employees that grabbed my arm? Was it you, Don? Did you, Don Benedetto, grab my arm on my back porch as I'm running away? Did you, Don Benedetto, grab my arm on my back porch as I'm running away and then go back to your Jonestown and concoct a felony for me? Was that you, Don Benedetto? If it wasn't, then what's the name of your two employees? What is wrong with you, Don? Where do you live, Don? Where's the United States of America, Don? Do I have civil and constitutional rights, Don? How do you come to the house and miss a man to man his dog? The reason why I was able to adopt my little guy, my ex-girlfriend, Laura Riley, is I passed the background check. I went to the cages. He's looking up at us. Just a perfect moment for Laura and I. You're coming to my residence to demand my little guy, and all I'm doing is walking him the same way 7 years and 4,000 times. This hatred that I'm next to, they don't come over here and say, you're walking your dog on our land, don't walk your dog on our land. I'd say I didn't know that because I'm back there for 7 years. Your employees have been pounding on my door over and over and over. This is the first time I believe that they pounded on my door, demanding my little guy. I slammed the door in his face as I picked him up. He was shaking. I said, nobody's ever going to take you from me. Do you, Todd Baxter, know how much people love their dogs in the United States of America? I'm nothing special in that regard. That's the normal human emotion for your dog. People really love their dogs just like their family members. Your dog brings joy to your life every single day. There are people at work, they work a normal 9 to 5 day, and they're thinking, before they arrive home at 5 o'clock and the dog's inside, if they live alone like I do, they think, I can only wait to see my dog. Because he's going to come or she's going to come and greet me and say, hello, how are you? How was your day? That's what your dog does for you. When I say your dog brings joy to life, and this is what tens of millions of people understand. And that's what he would do. He would jump up when I would open the door. If he was sleeping in his dog bed, his head would pop up like this, and then he would run right at me. And I'd pick him up and say, I missed you too. This is the way dog owners are, because people love their dogs. And here you are, pounding on my door, demanding my little guy. Fanatic, degenerate, sociopath, Sheriff Todd Baxter. Paula Metzler, you received this. Everybody's guilty, isn't that right, Paula Metzler? Not a single person is acquitted in Penfield Town Court, and that's what I'm going to tell the Department of Justice, you bald-headed, wig-wearing fanatic. The name, charge, and sentence of every defendant in Penfield Town Court for John P. Metzler Jr., James E. Moore Jr., Paula Metzler. You got this on December 16th. What's today's day, Paula Metzler? This is a month ago. And Paula Metzler just wasn't sent once. December 16th, the same document, December 17th. This is attached. Same document, December 18th, 3 days in a row there. 2 days in a row then, I waited for the response. December 26th. It's attached. Send it to me. The name, charge, and sentence of every defendant in Penfield Town Court for John P. Metzler Jr., James P. Miller, Paula Metzler. That's you bald-headed, wig-wearing degenerate. December 27th. Send it to me. Send me a list of defendants in Penfield Town Court. December 28th. Send me a list of defendants in Penfield Town Court. December 29th. Send me a list of defendants in Penfield Town Court. December 30th. Send me a list of defendants in Penfield Town Court. January 2nd. Send me a list of defendants in Penfield Town Court. January 3rd. Send me a list of defendants in Penfield Town Court. January 5th. Send me a list of defendants in Penfield Town Court. January 6th. Send me a list of defendants in Penfield Town Court. Everybody's guilty, 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 guilty. Everybody's guilty. How is that possibly explained? United States Department of Justice. Prosecutor didn't talk when I was in Penfield Town Court. Prosecutor didn't talk because I haven't committed a crime. What's her name the first time? Sandra Doorley. It's a female. What's his name the second time? It's 5'2", 3-piece suit boy. Every single time a person appears in Penfield Town Court, one of these two hacks, James P. Miller Jr., Paula Metzler, declares that person guilty because that's the way you want it, the district attorney's office and sheriff's office. And that's the way this pedophile protection rap for Daniel Glaus III, that 7-year-old John P. Metzler Jr. wanted. When I'm in there in front of Metzler, there's no interest whatsoever in why I'm there. When I'm in there in front of Paula Metzler, no interest whatsoever as far as why I'm in there and what the facts are. Abolish this court. Direct defendants away from Penfield Town Court. It is a star chamber. I believe you won't do that because you want this star chamber there. If there is someone I'm speaking to at the district attorney's and sheriff's office that believes in justice and believes in the truth, believes in innocence, redirect defendants away from Penfield Town Court and allow them to have an opportunity for a fair hearing with someone who is not a fanatic consumed by hatred, like Paula C. Metzler and James P. Miller Jr. You received this on January 9th. The internal disciplinary records of documentation of employees of the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd K. Baxter, and Sheriff Todd K. Baxter is reprimanded, terminated, disciplined from employment at the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office. December 9th, you received this. January 9th. Where is it? Tell me where it is. Where are your disciplinary records? It is your response that you don't discipline your employees. You're a veteran, correct, Todd Baxter? Then you don't understand the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And in the code, there's the Article 15, which is a non-judicial punishment. And in the code, there's the courts martial. If you are in violation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, then you are subject to this code. It's the disciplinary process in the military. So soldiers will comport themselves with the highest ethical standards. You don't have the highest ethical standards at the sheriff's office. As I've just demonstrated, you're concocting crimes for me. I'm 55 years old. In the 30 years since I was honorably discharged as a 22-year-old Sergeant E5 from 2nd Squadron, 17th Cavalry, 101st Airborne Division Air Assault, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, I have one speeding ticket. I didn't suddenly become a criminal. You're a criminal, Todd Baxter. The internal disciplinary records of documentation for employees of the Monmouth County District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, that District Attorney Sandra Doorley is disciplined, reprimanded, and terminated from employment at the Monmouth County District Attorney's Office. Should you fire an assistant district attorney who doesn't talk in court as an innocent man is delivered to jail? The answer is yes. And you won't even tell me the name of your assistant district attorney first before John P. Metzler Jr., second before Paula Metzler, who doesn't talk. And your employee, Sandra Doorley, don't talk because I haven't committed a crime. And then they're demanding I go back in there to be declared guilty. That's insane. I will never go into Penfield Town Court. I'm going to emphasize this over and over, and I'll repeat things that need to be repeated to hammer into brains of corruption. I don't care about filing additional charges, Paula Metzler. You're sitting there as one human being, you revolting hack, attempting to send me to jail. When it's a jury in Penfield Town Court, I'm going to Penfield Town Court. Fuck you, bald-headed wig-wearing Paula Metzler. The names and salaries of every public employee at the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office of Todd K. Baxter. Send it to me. Jansen McNair, an award winner. Jansen, how did you spend your $104,000 salary? You're giving out these fake awards to your employees, Todd Baxter. You're such a joke. The names and salaries of every public employee at the Monmouth County District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. I think you have 14 that make $100,000. How do you explain that, man, District Attorney, if you want for re-election? Total cost of overtime, time and a half, well paid on base salaries calculated at the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter. How do you do that? when the 41st hour was worked. Do you understand that employees throughout the United States in public service abuse overtime? That's what I'm attempting to determine if you're doing, Todd Baxter, because I believe your employees will drive around in their vehicles when a 41st hour is reached in order to be paid overtime, because it's greed of the heart. Do your employees do that? Do you have a list of employees that you pay overtime beyond a 40th hour? If you have an individual that's making $60,000 and suddenly that person exists with $100,000 or more, that's because of overtime. Do you have a list of your top 10 employees making overtime, top 20, top 50, top 100? How many of your employees earn overtime? Does every single employee at the Monroe County Sheriff Office earn overtime? And when your answer is, I need to be arrested for demanding that answer from you. Total cost of overtime time and a half well paid beyond base hours calculated at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office of District Attorney Sandra Doorley. David Dyson, you $103,599 salary. $103,599. David Dyson, you work 40 hours and you just paid a week, $103,590, or if you work a 41st hour, you paid beyond that $103,599 salary. Are you, David Dice, paid $103,599, 365 days a year, 52 weeks a year, or do you earn more? What's the answer, District Attorney Sandra Doorley? You have to switch parties again? No party you're supposed to be in? The cost of taxpayers of Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter expended taxpayer dollars settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits fair to apply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Does the name Strom Thurmond sound familiar to you at the District Attorney's Office? Because Strom Thurmond holds the record for the filibuster in the Senate, my former employee, because he was filibustering civil rights legislation. It's a stain on the United States Senate, that filibuster that he conducted. And the filibuster is conducted by his fellow racists and segregationists. This law protects every single American and guarantees that every single American has civil and constitutional rights. I'm demanding if you settle these lawsuits because your employees are engaged in sexual harassment. What's the answer, Todd Baxter? Answer that question, Todd Baxter. Cost of taxpayers of Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Doorley expended taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits fair to apply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Bianca D'Angelo, $91,380. Are you Bianca D'Angelo being sexually harassed in the Monroe County District Attorney's Office or Sandra Doorley? I hope you're not. Should never happen in the United States of America to an innocent man. I'm walking through the parking lot for the 4,000th time. This Nayrod shot his parasites in his car screaming at me. I don't know why. We have this brief confrontation. He doesn't tell the sheriff's office he's screaming at me. As I walk away, he's still screaming. I tell him to fuck off and I give him the finger. He goes to the sheriff's office. They don't laugh this guy out of the building. And you put this camera on this building. That's why Elliot Ross says to me, you're going to be arrested. Isn't that right, Elliot? Where's your morality, decency, and ethics, Elliot? Standing there looking at me with that grim reaper smile on your face. You know they're going to concoct this crime for me. If the roles were reversed, Elliot, I would have immediately came over to 26 Sanders Farm Drive. I would have knocked on the door and said, they just put this camera on this building. They're planning to arrest you with Shannon Meyer, Steve Desmond, cuts the grass at Broccoli Tree and Lawn Care, are getting together to try to get you to come out of the house. I would have did that for you, Elliot, because I wouldn't want to see you in handcuffs when you haven't committed a crime. The cost of surveillance device purchased with taxpayer dollars by Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter fixed to a building at 2025 Penfield Road, the amount of Christopher Chichester at 26 Sanders Farm Drive, walks through the parking lot next to the building. Then when I was calling the surveillance device, you calling Lindsay Barron to Monroe County Office of Mental Health to come to my residence. That's not the high resolution photo, but that's it. You could drive through that parking lot at the District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office, you can see it, or you can walk through that parking lot and see it. You at the District Attorney's Office, you employees, you at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, you employees can walk through that parking lot without being arrested. Why is that? Your friends and family members can walk through that parking lot without being arrested. Why is that? Why am I the only American? Why am I the only citizen of New York? Why am I the only citizen of Monroe County? Why am I the only resident of Penfield to be arrested for walking through that parking lot? You will have to answer these questions and explain this to the United States Department of Justice. Go ask Shannon Meyer that question, Todd Baxter, and fire her $67,000 pathetic criminal existence. Fire Shannon Meyer, fire Andrew Allen, fire Don Benedetto. Fire these people. If they're concocting crimes for me, Andrew Allen, Shannon Meyer, and Don Benedetto will concoct crimes for other people, just for your own self-preservation. You shouldn't want these 3 corrupt, nauseating, repulsive hacks around you for your own self-preservation. Because they're doing this to me. If Don Benedetto has done this to me, if Andrew Reale's done this to me, if Shannon Meyer's done this to me, they will do this to other innocent citizens of Monroe County, and that's going to create political problems for you when you run for re-election. I'm doing everything possible to see if you're defeated in the primary, the Democratic primary. Is that right? I'm confident you will be defeated in the Democratic primary, Sheriff Todd Baxter. The cost of taxpayers photography session approved by Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter photographed 10 public employees underwater in the pool. Because when you run for re-election, if you are in the Democratic primary, if you're in the general election, you're definitely in the general election. When you are campaigning as a candidate in the general election, as a Democrat, I'm going to come to your events. I'm going to hold up this photograph. I'm going to say, I've been demanding your whole time in office. If you spend taxpayer dollars to take this photograph of your public employees underwater in the pool, and you refused. What's the answer? You said it was a training exercise with one of your employees. If it's training exercise, it's taxpayer dollars. How is this possibly explained? What are they doing here? Underwater in a pool, instead of doing their jobs. Tell me how this is possibly explained. I'm going to hold this up to your face. When you run for re-election, I hope there's a big public event. I'm surrounded by reporters from the Democrat and Chronicle, your fellow employees, constituents, the people of Monroe County. I want to hold this up to your face right in front of you and say, I've been demanding your whole time in office. If you spend taxpayer dollars to take this photograph of your employees underwater in the pool, and I hope you perfect that deer in the headlights look of 70-year-old Paula C. Metzler in Penfield Town Court. It's Atlanta, Georgia, in the state of New York, Todd Baxter. Does your employee Ryan Fisher know Atlanta, Georgia is not in the state of New York? The cost for a hotel and plane ticket for Monroe County Sheriff employee Ryan Fisher to attend the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia on February 3rd, 2019 was canine dog Lola. Here he is. I mean, does he think that he's with the Rangers in Afghanistan and he's about to participate in a combat operation with this ferocious look on his face? Ryan, you're not a Ranger. You veterans there, if you wear that Ranger tab, you know that they are the warriors of the United States military. And here's Ryan Fisher with his look on his face like he's going to participate in a combat operation when he's in Atlanta, Georgia with his canine dog Lola. Did you write this tweet, Michael Radler, $0 employee? Michael Radler, this $0, you're not even paid $20, Michael, baby. You're not even paid $20 because you're paid $0, not $20, not nothing. Not one nickel, not one dime, not one $20 bill. Did you write this tweet, Michael Radler? That's why I'm asking you. As we get ready to watch the Super Bowl, we're grateful to the men and women signed to keep fans and players safe in Atlanta, including MCSO's Deputy Ryan Fisher, Canine Low. Deputy Fisher sent this photo from Atlanta. Thank you both for your service. Service, a joke. Here he is again with his dog. Did you buy that badge? You spent taxpayer dollars for that badge? It's the flag in New York. It means ever hire. You ever hire at the district attorney's office? The answer is no. You ever hire at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? The answer is no. This was the flag in Georgia. This redneck Stars and Bars 2003. How long did it take you, Ryan, to see that redneck Stars and Bars? Todd Baxter, lose weight. Why are you overweight? How can you set the example when you're overweight? I used to see the colonel when I was at 2nd Squadron, 17th Cavalry, and he was in tremendous shape, which you are the equivalent of a colonel at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. And you should look like one. You should look like a hero in your physical appearance. And you don't, because you're in the area of 20 pounds overweight. How can you tell your employees to get in shape and have the required physical strength that being in shape delivers to your body when you're not in shape? And for their own safety, they need to be in shape to repel these criminals, large criminals, men, 6'3", 250, 260 pounds. They need to be in shape to protect themselves and preserve their lives, and they're not. And you're not in shape. What are the physical training standards and requirements of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office of Sheriff Todd K. Baxter? I'm going to tell you how to do your job, because I know this doesn't happen. This is a guess. If I'm guessing, it's a guess. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, demand that every single Monroe County Sheriff Office employee appear at 6 a.m. for a 2-mile run, push-ups, and sit-ups, 50 push-ups. This can be done in less than an hour. You could do a 2-mile run, push-ups, and sit-ups, everything in less than an hour, and then go back to their residences and prepare for a work day. And then they'll be in shape, because that's the way it's done in the Army. at 6 a.m. tomorrow. This is going to be happening at the 101st, the 82nd, wherever it is, the Fort Drum. This is exactly what's going to happen tomorrow at 6 a.m. Why doesn't it happen at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? You like to think you're quasi-military operation, right? Get in shape. Tell your employees to get in shape to protect themselves and preserve their lives. Day in year, Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter rehired Michael Rather after his 20-year career with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office ended. Isn't that right? You're not even making $20. It's $20 bill. You need some money. How's your personal finances? You're a $0 employee, Michael, baby. I mean, you want to come over here and pound on the window, pound on the side, pound on the front door. Now, I can slip a $20 bill under the door for you, $0 employee, Michael Rather. The name in charge of every inmate in Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter's Monroe County Jail from January 2018 to January 9, 2021. Where? What are the names of your employees at the jail? That's what I'm trying to say. Name charge. It's very simple. It's a public facility, and you will refuse. Because I'm going to tell the Department of Justice to go to your jail and talk to the inmates and how the process is for when they're discharged. Because when I'm at your jail as an innocent man, I'm not being told how long I'm there. Twice. Excuse me. First time in Livingston County, I'm not told. The second time in Livingston County Jail, I'm not told. And the first time in Monroe County Jail, I'm not told. How does that happen? Where I'm not told both times how long I'm going to be there. That happens because of John P. Lorenzo Jr. and bald-headed wig-wearing Paula Metzler. I'm going to say this again. Madam District Attorney, suspending operations in Penfield Town Court by simply redirecting defendants away from James P. Mully Jr. and Paula C. Metzler. And you could do that. You could send him to any other court in Monroe County, even if it's a Penfield resident, because you do whatever you want. So since you can do whatever you do whatever you want, you could send an employee to a court at least where they have the opportunity to have a fair hearing. But this could be the way you want it. You know you can send somebody in there guilty, 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 guilty. You know you can do that. But if I'm wrong about that, I'm not right about everything. If I'm wrong about that, suspending operations of this court by simply redirecting defendants away from it. You don't have to sign documentation, Sandra, Doorley, Todd, Baxter, or whoever the responsible person is, where we're suspending operations in Penfield Town Court. I don't even know if that can be done under state constitution or local, state, and federal law. But you can certainly direct defendants to another jurisdiction. You can do that by saying, we're not going to have a defendant appear in front of Paula Metzler and James P. Mully. You can do that. You can achieve it. Achieve it. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester before Paula Metzler in Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Doorley. Tell me the name of this 5'2" 3-piece suit boy. Tell me the name. What is wrong with you, Sandra Doorley? Tell me the name. Doesn't talk. How am I delivered to jail when the prosecutor doesn't talk? Should never happen in the United States of America to an innocent man. I'm going to be on YouTube relentlessly demanding that information again. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime.